Welcome back. The movie industry changed dramatically in 2020, and so did the way we watch our favorite shows. With many theaters closed and filming put on hold, it was a much slower year. Still, our critics say there were plenty of great things to binge watch. So joining us now, local film critic Josh Bell, bringing us his list of the best films in 2020 for the Josh Bell Breakdown. So good to see you, and you're actually joining us live here, which is a nice way to end 2020 in my opinion. Let's go ahead and start off with your first movie, first binge watching film. What is it?
All right, so my number 5 movie of the year is called Banana Split. It is a lovely teen comedy starring and co-written by Hannah Marks along with Liana Liberato. And they play two teenage girls who you would typically expect in a movie like this to be at odds with each other over a guy. One of them is his ex-girlfriend, one of them is his current girlfriend, but it turns out that they actually become best friends. And this is just a joyful, funny movie about the bonds of teen girl friendship and how that kind of transcends anything, any kind of romance or any kind of connection with a guy. It's really well acted, it's charming, and it's so cleverly written. And there were a lot of really fun coming of age movies this year, but this one is my personal favorite. It's available to stream now on Netflix.
All right, let's get into the second one.
All right, so my number 4 movie of the year is called The Invisible Man. It is a horror movie that I actually got to see in theaters earlier this year, which is something, of course, that's not something I'm doing right now, let's say. But this was a great movie to see with a packed house, and I think it's a great movie to watch at home with the lights out as well. Elizabeth Moss gives a fantastic lead performance as a woman who's being terrorized, what appears to be from beyond the grave, by her abusive boyfriend who's managed to make himself invisible. And director Leigh Whannell creates incredible suspense just by pointing his camera at an empty space. And it really immerses you in this world. It's tense, and it's incredibly well acted from Elizabeth Moss. So that one, I believe, is available to rent on various VOD services right now.
I love it. All right, so third on your list.
So my number 3 pick is another horror movie that I got to see in theaters this year at the very beginning of the year. And unlike The Invisible Man, which was a big hit, this movie didn't reach audiences much earlier in the year, and I hope it will again soon. It's called Gretel and Hansel from director Oz Perkins, and it is a take on, of course, the classic fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, but in this moody, atmospheric way with this amazing production design and a really creepy score. It's got a really strong lead performance from Sophia Lillis, who plays Gretel here, who people may remember from the Stephen King It movies, as well as Alice Krige as the witch. And it's just another thing, it's just immersive. It puts you in this otherworldly place, and it tells this very familiar story in a new way. It's creepy and it's unsettling, and it has a lot to say, I think, about it's a coming of age story in its own way, about a young woman coming into her power. So that one is available to rent now and will actually also be on Amazon Prime starting next week. So I hope it finds a new audience.
I feel like I remember you being in studio talking about that film. That's how long ago that was. Obviously, a lot of things changing this year. Okay, so that is definitely on my list. I forgot to watch it when you initially mentioned it. Let's go to number 2 now.
So my number 2 pick is an Amazon Prime original called Cella and the Spades. It's a debut film from director Tyerisha Poe, and it's amazingly assured debut with, again, a great lead performance here from Lovie Simone, who plays the title character Cella. It's sort of a mix of mafia movie almost, along with a teen drama. It uses the devices of that crime movie like The Godfather or something like that, but puts it in the context of this upscale prep school where the big drama is over the prom. But the mix of those genres, I think, gives you something fresh from both angles in terms of the crime movie, but also in terms of the teen drama. It's also really visually stylish, and the dialogue is also very stylized and mannered, but in a really clever way. And that one is streaming on Amazon Prime as of now.
All right, now first on your list, this one's pretty recent, right?
Yeah, I talked about this in my Bell Breakdown segment fairly recently, and it just completely wowed me. And I feel like I'm slightly alone. This isn't a movie that a lot of critics have loved, but I just thought it was brilliant. It's called Dreamland, starring Margot Robbie. It is a period drama set in the Depression era in Texas, and Margot Robbie plays a bank robber on the run who is sort of part of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of couple, and she ends up on this farm and makes a connection with this young man played by Finn Cole. And it's gorgeous. I think a lot of these movies here that I'm talking about are just beautifully stylized. It has this great score. The way that the cross-cutting is done and the editing to kind of create these parallels between the two characters and their journeys. It's tragic. It's got something to say about the American dream, and beautifully acted by Margot Robbie, who is always great. And I feel like a movie starring Margot Robbie should be getting more attention than this movie has. So I'm going to continue to stick up for it, even if I'm the only critic doing so. It is available for video on demand rental right now. And it's actually, I think the price has just recently been reduced. So if you weren't sure about getting it when it first opened, it's now a little cheaper. Check out Dreamland on demand.
You know, Josh, I love how you just owned up to it. You're like, you know, not a lot of people agree with me, but I still think it's beautiful. And honestly, looking at some of those clips, it does look like a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. So now that is also on my list. We ran out of time, but thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you want details on this list that Josh just gave us, we'll post it on our website, ktmv.com. Josh, Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to you. Great to chat with you again, finally.
I know. Great way to end the new year. We'll chat with you soon.